Good, y'all. This your boy Black G92. Now, today I'm doing a review of Jay Green's mixtape, which dropped in October of 2014, on the 8th to be exact, titled The Paradox. Very fitting title and what the tape pretty much consists of for the Halloween season to get y'all in the spirit, especially on these last couple weeks, days leading into the actual day. And Jay Green pretty much produces all the tracks himself, all the DJ scratches and such, and vocal samples. It has no features on it, so you'll get a lot of Jay Green on here. It starts off with a very sinister intro with a demonic voice sample, and then Jay Green coming through with a very quick verse, pretty much setting up the theme and whatnot of the whole tape, leading into the next track on Wax, Space Ghost Perp Disc Part 2. As you can see on the titles, pretty much self-explanatory. Jay Green pretty much dissed the shit out of Space Ghost Perp, questions sexuality, and talking about how Space Ghost Perp stays ran on Twitter and such, amongst other things. I'm not too sure about the origins of how that beef came about, because I don't think I'm sure about that. Jay Green left Raider Clan sometime 2013, I believe, later on that year. If anyone knows any more information, hit me up in the comment section. And also, Jay Green drops a very disturbing accusation claiming that Space Ghost Perp sent them a DM of a baby's dick, and which was quite disgusting to hear. I was like, whoa. When I first heard him drop the accusation, like, whoa, what's going on here? This sounds like pedo shit going on. Now, that's the only. Now, Space Ghost Perp hasn't confirmed or denied it based on recent interviews, so I'm not too sure. But all I know is if I was ever had a confrontation with someone and they pull some shit like that, oh yeah, it would have been on site for real, because you don't play with people like that for real. But other than that, like the disc record was fresh, had a lot of scratches and such from a bunch of old school samples, especially on the hook. On one part of it had the vocal sample of Space Ghost Perp, and it's like stick to producing from Ice Cube's disc record, No Vaseline. So very hard hitting disc record. And near the end of the track has a sample from one of those old Mortal Kombat games. It's going something like Flawless Victory, which is very fitting, as it is pretty solid. Going into the next track, Schema God, basically saying how Jay Green's pretty much like the god of just being the scheming ass nigga, has pretty much exemplified throughout the first verse. Pretty much saying how he's smashing of his opposition's mama with no rubber, and the hook pretty much self-explanatory. Very banging ass track. And like the next track, Nobody Moves, it pretty much is shown on the hook, sampled from, I forgot what track it was from, but it's definitely from one of those late 80s hip hop tracks. It's like, nobody move, nobody get hurt. It has those gun sounds going into it. And basically Jay Green pretty much discussing like blasting haters and whatnot and his opposition. That's that usual sort of thing. Pretty tight track. Highly recommend it. Perfect for the whip, has a lot of bass to it. Then the next track, The Handle, which is my favorite track off the entire tape. The Handle, pretty much Jay Green laying down all the rules of what could happen if someone were to cross him. And it's very creative and unique, and how they each has their own like set of consequences and such. And then like on the verses, end of each verse, he repeats, "In this jungle, gotta be a wildebeest." Pretty much explain like how in the streets you gotta be like an animal to survive, which is like very hard hitting. Definitely another recommended track. Backed up by haunting instrumental, like right amount of snares and bass. Definitely should check that out. And Little Unknown switches gears a bit, as it has this bit of airy / vaporwave, cloudy type vibe has this sample. I'm not too sure where it came from. And Jay Green comes through with a very short verse. Not really taking up, overstating his welcome on this track. Is as a track, I guess, is in place just to pad out like the following tracks come after this one. Definitely a good track for those that like to get their smoke on. And next one is a skit, First 48, named after the show of the same name. Nothing to it, just a short skit and a lower key. Basically, track about staying low key because certain people talk too much and get you into a lot of shit. So, nothing to it. And on this track right here, Jay Green adopts a flow that's very reminiscent of Play It Fly's on his old albums, which is pretty unique. And for those that are fans of Play It Fly, you definitely love this track, as it definitely reminds you of those like 90s Play It Fly albums and underground tapes. And another solid track on this tape. And the next two tracks following that are basically DJ mixes. First coming up is South Maniac. Has a lot of vocal samples, DJ scratches, and a banging ass instrumental. And definitely reminiscent of those old school DJ mixes from back in, say, the late 80s up to, say, I would like to say the early 90s, if not mistaken. And it's definitely a banger without no verses on there. Trust and believe. When you hear this track, you'll definitely love it. And the next one is Juke and Bach. And as the title hints, is like the track instrumental that it is perfect for the juking and doing what they call the gangster walk, which is popularized by Crunchy Black. And like the samples is very vast. Has those vocal sample of Flavor Flav saying "yeah, boy" over this like very low creeping instrumental that picks up the pace like after that. Yes, yes, yes. And like in the portion of the beat, it changes up with this get buck, paying homage to the whole Memphis rap scene. And my favorite part of this instrumental is when they did a slowed up sample of Houdini's Friends. Was like friends, 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 friends. How many of us have them? Friends. The ones you can depend on. Very, very, very effective, very effective. And as far as that yes, came from various Memphis DJ / producers from that scene in the 90s. Mainly Paul and Juicy J were very popular doing so, and as well as a few other people. And now, this track was originally featured on a Super Bowl commercial. I can't exactly remember what type of commercial it was, as it's been about a couple years since I've seen that commercial. And I feel like it was definitely a good look for Jay Green to see it on a major platform like that. Have like a second so like playing that instrumental in the back. And definitely another highlight and the best instrumentals. Which brings me to another question. Like, how come people don't have tracks? How come producers don't have tracks like this where they just showcase their production skills and DJ scratcher skills? Like, you don't see too much of that nowadays. I wonder why they don't do it as much anymore. I mean, if anyone got the question, hit me up on IG or whatever. Let me know what's the reason behind it. Because this definitely is missing. And the second to last track on this tape is Track Baby, a Bay Area influence type joint, which Jay Green incorporates Too Short's like smooth, slow, pimpish flow in the spirit of his classic Freaky Tales joint, as Jay Green speaks about a freaky tale of his own, of sleeping with a woman whose hygiene is not up to par, but still and is bald, as At the end of the track, you talking about when he's hitting the chick as the smell fills up the room and he snatched the wig off and you find out the chick bald-headed. And the outro just goes in pretty much very funny. This Jay Green just describing nice. Find out the chick is bald-headed and such. And still glad that he's managed to hit it. So, very funny track. And the outro is basically the same instrumental of Static off of Fuck Mainstream Codeine Funk of 2012. And Jay Green just pretty much announcing the title of the mixtape and letting the people know that all the beats are done. J scratches are done by himself and also all the tracks written by him. And after letting people know about all that information, he proceeds to jive on one of his homeboys in the studio and give a shout out to one of his partners in his neighborhood, and beat fades out, completing another banging ass project from a legendary producer slash rapper. And the rating I give this is a 4.5 out of 5. Very solid, perfect to bump in the whip, or if you got some speakers, Beats Pill, or whatever that got good bass to it, perfect for that occasion. Or if you want something to smoke to, definitely something fitting for that as well. And shout out to Jay Green and Schema Posse. And this is Black G92, and I'll be back with another review. All right, peace.